Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. So happy to welcome James Waters and Andrew Rudd, both from the Canton Film Festival. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning. Good morning. How's it going, Susie?
Great. Happy to have you here. So Canton Film Festival, this is so exciting. It's just exciting that we have something like this in our town. You know, we're known for football. We're known for the arts. This is one more thing. We've got a 5K run now, don't we, and a marathon. This is another thing that brings people from hither and yon to Canton, Ohio. What started this?
Oh, this started way back when, probably about, so we're going on our 8th film festival, which is, great for the community, I think. Basically, it kind of was born with the idea that we have so much talent in Stark County to try to give them a voice and an outlet to be seen on the big screen.
We do. And Andrew, you've gotten to see this. You're a professor at Malone University. You've gotten to see classes and classes of young people go through. And they kind of even started their own film festival over there on their own, and you were nice enough to oversee that. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, that film festival, the Open Frame Film Festival, is coming up on, I think it's 14th or 15th year now.
Amazing.
So many of those students are now making films in Los Angeles, in California, in New York, on the East Coast, and all different kinds of places. We have a couple at Ohio University right now, too.
Wow. Oh, and that's a good school.
It is.
They did come back, too, some of them. And so you've got, as you say, James, some local Canton, Stark County, and surrounding counties filmmakers that are living right here and doing some interesting things, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, from even like the guys at Red Point Digital, like in the Akron area, they're doing a ton of stuff. A lot of people are working on documentaries like Rashad Polk. So it's just really, I think there's a lot of great stories here. And a lot of hard workers here, and they really kind of maximize their creativity. So
the film festival circuit is an interesting one. And Andrew, you did an amazing film with Safety Net. That was quite amazing. Got to see it at several film festivals throughout the year. And so you got to know that life of going from festival to festival with a film. Talk about it from the viewpoint of a filmmaker.
Absolutely. And I will give a shout out to James, who actually was one of the producers of Safety Net, too. He paved the way for me, brought together all kinds of crew.
It was awesome.
If you want to get a job done here in Stark County, you better call James Waters.
Yes.
I tell all my students, you've got to know this guy. So this past year, I've been going to festivals kind of all over the country, and Safety Net has been going all over the world. In fact, I was up till midnight working on subtitles for a Russian festival that's going to show at in a couple of I don't know Russian. But it's been a really wild ride to kind of see who this story resonates with, because it's a story that I wrote based on real experiences of a real person who lives here in Canton, Ohio. And yet there are people all over the world, in Latin America, Russia, Europe, where else? Romania, Canada. But most of the festivals that I've visited were here in the United States. And actually one of the festivals that I went to, so, festivals can go on for 2 weeks.
Right.
And have hundreds of filmmakers and thousands of film attendees. Or there are hundreds of festivals like ours that only happen for 3 days. But still, they manage to attract, like we have, filmmakers from all over the country who come and I think in some ways those festivals are even more rewarding because you get a little bit closer to your audience. And as a filmmaker, that's one of the most rewarding things, to have a room full of strangers who don't know anything about you, anything about the making of the film, and yet they have a connection with the character, with the story. They come up and ask you questions. They make angry accusations about the story, which makes you, they care about the story. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about filmmaking, about audiences, but also about film festivals in the last year.
Is it hard to sit in a room where strangers are about to watch your baby and wait and listen for their response, just to hope and pray that they laugh at the right points and that they cry at the right points? What's that like?
I'm always my worst critic. I literally hate everything I work on. Once it's over, I don't, I couldn't give you a project that I'd be like, watch this. I'm, super proud of it.
Except Safety Net.
Except for Safety Net.
Very
Very true, yeah. But like, so when people like it, it always surprises me when I'm like, oh, they like it. It's okay. Like, and then it's very rewarding. And
Yeah.
then, you realize that you're kind of on the pulse of, what's socially active in the world, or, you're saying the right thing. So
What makes filmmakers tick? What is it about some people who have a story inside of them and they've got to get it out, and film is the only way that's going to do it justice?
You need to talk to my therapist, and I don't think that she's done working that one out yet, because you're right. It's a really crazy, because you just endure all kinds of work, prayer, elbow grease. You make a lot of promises. You stay up nights. But there's something about, to me, I think maybe it's the connection, the idea of connecting both a big idea and a vision that you have, or maybe have been given, with other people who you hope will be inspired by it a little bit.
It's a powerful medium.
It is.
oh, hands down.
Why is that so?
I think the big part of it is that it's visual and audio, like, together. So I feel like when people watch movies, they really connect, whether it's with the character, whether it's with the music, whether it's the action sequence. And then just really to grab somebody's attention for whether it's 5 minutes for like a short film, or, a 3-hour movie, like, that's pretty impressive, so.
I like to talk about the fact that I agree with everything that James is saying, but there's also this amazing thing that happens where 1 minute you'll be across a room or across a valley from a character, and you'll see them dwarfed by the setting that they're in.
Yes.
And the next second, you'll be so close to their face that you could lean in and give them a quick kiss. And that's not like a human experience that we can have anywhere outside of the movies. The movies allow us this ability to kind of be close, be far. It is almost a divine proposition. In fact, there's something called the God shot, when the camera floats up overhead. But in some ways, I think that, like, the movies offer us transcendence. They offer us to get really close to our characters, but they also offer us hope, because we're not always too close to the characters.
You can see some of the most incredible, awesome movies at a film festival that make you think about it for days and days afterwards. And you've seen a good film when you're still thinking about it days and days afterwards and still talking about it. You can also see some real stinkers at a film festival. How have you managed to keep the quality so good at the Canton Film Festival?
We've really been lucky. I mean, I think the big thing that speaks to Stark County is the education that we have here, from North Canton High School program, Glen Oaks program, McKinley submitted. We've had Massillon. Pretty much all major high schools have a video program that's pretty top notch. Followed then by the colleges, from like Stark State, Malone. I think Walsh is adding a video program now. So you're getting these like pockets of students that are very well versed in cinema, which is nice. And then to kind of complement that, like, we've actually had the chance in the years past to get like international films, like people submitting from all over the world. And then you get folks like Aaron Brown and Jake Thomas, who've been working on great short films, and like they've submitted stuff and came and talked, and so I think there's a nice little roundabout of filmmakers in the area, ones that leave, resubmit, want to be connected. Because, I mean, once your roots are kind of Midwest, like, I don't think you ever forget that.
Yeah. That shows. And something I hear out in Hollywood is they're always trying to find people who look or think or know how to write for the Midwest, because they don't get us. And so they need someone to be able to translate us to them. And somebody, if you can do Midwest, you're in good shape out there.
Agreed.
So we're sending people.
We are. We're training the Midwest for
That's
Hollywood.
Right. That is absolutely true. So who is this film festival for? Who is the Canton Film Festival for? As far as filmmakers submitting, I've heard local people that you're really wanting to open it up as an opportunity for local people, but I just heard you say internationally people are submitting as well.
Very true. I'll let Andrew jump on this one.
So in years past, we have really focused on programming our whole slate as full of local filmmakers as we could. And we definitely will have local filmmakers this year, but we are kind of shifting our focus a little bit, and we're going to aim for the stars. And when I say the stars, I don't mean people who are established Hollywood stars.
Right.
What I want to see at our festival this year is I hope that we have 70% of the films that we screen to be up-and-coming new filmmakers, tomorrow's visionaries. And the reason why we're doing that is not because we're leaving behind the idea of building film culture here in Canton. In fact, we're doing the opposite. We're bringing in folks that are going to inspire all the filmmakers that we have here. And we're going to have a day for students on Friday of April 26th through 28th.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that our students get some training, so that they get to rub shoulders with some of these filmmakers that are coming in. But we've changed the whole structure of the festival so that our filmmakers who come are going to be eligible for up to 7 audience awards, all cash. And in doing so, if they come to Canton, and only if they come to Canton, then they can go on to the Best of the Fest showing on Sunday night. So all of your audience will want to buy their tickets early for the Sunday Night Fest. It's going to be all the best stuff that we show. And then they can win a $1,000 prize, which is kind of a big deal.
And that can help pay off the costs of making the film.
That's right.
Exactly.
So if you attend, then you are going to get to see these filmmakers and have Q&A with them.
You're not just going to get to see them, you're going to get to interact with them.
Nice.
We are telling the filmmakers that the reason they should come to our festival is because we have passionate audiences who want to engage them. And I've seen at every film fest that I've come to here at the Canton Film Fest,
For example, just the other evening on First Friday, you had a film flash event to lead up to this, and you had quite a turnout, didn't you?
We did. We had over 50 for our first one without any advertising. And it's going to be an event that we're going to repeat every month coming up to the film festival. And what was great is we actually got to have one of the filmmakers who showed their films be at the event. He was there for a couple of the times. He took some answers, he took some questions and gave some answers. But just the fact that you get to see a person who's made a film that you just watched and laughed at. People laughed pretty hard at it. And you get to sort of think, oh, this is how somebody makes a film. I guarantee that there's at least 1 or 2 people that came out of that event ready to use their phone to make the next big funny film that goes to festivals.
Got to know, was it the spider one?
It was the spider one.
We guessed right.
Yep, that's right.
That's too fun. Well, what are we looking for? Because this one is just about shorts, right? Let's talk about that and how that makes it different from other film festivals.
So most film festivals, especially like the Cleveland Film Festival, have a nice mix of feature-length films and short films. And most Americans are used to watching feature-length films. When you go to the Cineplex, you watch feature films. And most of us have seen one of the Pixar shorts, so we're familiar with the genre of short films. But the truth is that short films are just as diverse as all the other kinds of films that you could imagine. In fact, maybe more diverse. Because of the compressed format, you can see a lot of very strange things, one right after each other, and hopefully some really inspiring things and some romantic things and some funny things. So we really want people to have the exposure to a lot of different, unique visions that are just shorts.
How long is a short film?
I would say 15 minutes or less. That would be the a good amount of time. You should be able to tell your story, in 15 minutes or less. Most short films probably range around 7.5 minutes, which I think turn out pretty well.
So if you are coming to attend a film block, it's like going to the movies. You're going to be there for like 90 minutes, 2 hours. It's as if you're seeing a movie, but you're going to see 7 or 8 shorts, yes?
Yes. And then, so I think that gives you a good opportunity to see a lot of different diverse films, too, within that block, I believe this year we have a narrative category, a documentary category,
comedy category, a horror sci-fi category, a family-friendly category. I'll kick us off Saturday morning.
So I think you'll have an opportunity to see a lot of different things of that nature, too. And then I love that we added the family-friendly category as well. So I think that will give a chance for, parents to bring their kids to see, not every kid plays football, not every kid plays soccer. Like, that would be an opportunity to be like, oh, look, they can make movies.
Oh, my.
So,
I raised a couple of those.
So I think that's a good opportunity.
Soccer and a little football and really like to make movies.
Exactly.
So it's interesting, though, that we've got the Palace Theater, because you're talking about one of the greatest venues maybe in the country to be able to show these. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh, the Palace is absolutely amazing, and the amount of work that Georgia Pax has put in for the film festival has been great, too. Literally I had a filmmaker who had premiered films at Sundance that was like, Sundance wishes they had a theater like
No
the
kidding.
Palace.
That's right.
At Park City.
Isn't that something?
He's like, I would much rather play my film in a theater like the Palace, and so as we keep growing and hopefully, get some more, people to do distribution or to meet new filmmakers and those sort of things, we can kind of have that Sundance vibe kind of as well, but in a nicer theater.
Are you going out and asking, like when you're at a film festival and you see something you really like, are you saying, oh, you need to submit to ours, or are you waiting for people to find you, or is there a little bit of both, or how are you doing this?
Probably a little bit of both. We do a lot of kind of outreach via like social media, Film Freeway, where you can submit your film. Does a nice job of advertising as well. For filmmakers to find us, and then it's just like constantly kind of putting it out in that world.
How many do you have to watch before you take it down to what we get to watch? Because, the work behind it is
We will have a
amazing.
huge team of dedicated volunteers
To watch all these movies.
that are going to watch all these. So every movie that gets submitted is going to get watched at least 2 times, and it's going to kind of move through the ranks, and gradually we'll be able to hone it down to just those magic 100.
I just want people to understand how much work goes behind one of these things, because it is incredible. Looking at the clock, we need to take a short break. We're going to be back with Andrew Rudd and James Waters from the Canton Film Festival after these words. You're listening to Our Community.